In the golden desert city of Zarim, the marketplace was alive with color and life. Wooden stalls lined the plaza, their awnings casting dancing shadows on the sun-baked cobblestones. At his humble stall, young Aladdin worked quietly. He was a map maker, and each parchment he created was a work of art, drawn with careful hands. As he arranged his maps, a gentle voice drifted towards him. "Is this map truly yours?" He looked up. A young woman stood before his stall, her face partially hidden beneath a brown cloak. But her eyes were bright, curious, and alive. "Every line," Aladdin replied quietly. "I only draw places I've walked myself." The girl studied the intricate details, then looked up at him with curious intensity. "That's remarkable," she said softly. Though Aladdin didn't realize it, he was speaking with Princess Amira herself, the kingdom's most sought-after royal, now standing in his marketplace in disguise. Without warning, darkness swept over the market. The desert wind howled as massive sandstorm rushed towards the city. Aladdin stepped forward instinctively. "This way, quick!" he urged, guiding her beneath an ancient stone archway. As they caught their breath, something slipped from beneath Amira's cloak, a polished metal crest marked with royal emblem. Her eyes went wide. She quickly hid it, her cheeks flushing. Before Aladdin could ask anything, the storm unearthed something buried in the sand at their feet. A bronze compass, but this one glowed with a faint, otherworldly light. Amira reached for it. As her fingers touched the metal, the needle began to spin wildly. "This isn't a normal compass," she murmured. Aladdin nodded slowly. "No, it seems to point to something else entirely." When the storm cleared, they brought the mysterious compass to an elderly historian. The old man examined it carefully, his eyes widening with recognition. "This is a truth-seeker's compass," he explained softly. "It points not north, but towards destiny itself, toward the truth of who you're meant to be." He held it out to Aladdin. "Hold it." The moment it rested in Aladdin's palm, the needle steadied, pointing towards the distant Dusk Mountains. Then Amira took the compass, and something magical happened. It glowed brighter, much brighter, as though sensing her true role, her royal blood. Aladdin and Amira looked at each other, and a quiet thrill passed between them. Whatever this compass was, it had chosen them both. Night fell over Zarim. Palace guards filled the market, their torches blazing. "The princess! Has anyone seen Princess Amira?" Aladdin turned to the cloaked girl beside him, realization dawning. Amira sighed and lowered her head. Dark hair spilled over her shoulders. "I suppose you know now," she whispered. "I am Princess Amira." Aladdin's expression remained gentle. "Why pretend to be someone else?" Amira's gaze drifted to the stars. "Because they want to marry me off for politics, and I wanted one day to breathe freely, to be just Amira." She looked at him hopefully. "Will you guide me to the Dusk Mountains?" Aladdin felt his heart tighten, but when he looked up into her eyes, he saw not a princess, but a person brave enough to risk everything for freedom. He nodded. One journey for the truth. The journey began through the shimmering dunes that stretched endlessly. By day, they walked side by side, sharing light jokes beneath the blazing sun. Amira teased him about his posture. He taught her to read the constellations when the night fell. At night, by campfire, their voices softened to quieter, more meaningful conversations. Their silence grew comfortable, peaceful, like old friends who didn't need to fill every moment with words. Bit by bit, a quiet trust formed between them. Danger found them at the crimson dune when the sand turned deep orange in the setting sun. Shadows rose from behind a towering dune. Sand bandits, their eyes hungry and cruel. "Hand over the glowing trinket," the leader growled, pointing at the compass. Aladdin stepped protectively in front of Amira. "You don't want this fight." But Amira acted swiftly. She grabbed her water pouch and slashed it open. Water spilled into the sand at the bandit's feet, turning it slick. The bandits slipped and stumbled, completely losing their footing. Amira grabbed Aladdin's arm. "Run!" she whispered fiercely. They fled together across the crimson dunes until the angry shouts faded. Finally, they collapsed into the sand, gasping for breath. And then they started laughing, a strange, exhilarating relief. "You sacrificed our water," Aladdin managed. "It worked, didn't it?" Amira grinned. They laughed until the fear drained away, replacing by something deeper: respect, admiration, and the beginning of love. The compass guided them to the towering Dusk Mountains. They found a cave entrance glowing with purple and blue light. Inside, the walls were crystal. Massive formations pulsed with inner light, and their reflections appeared in every surface. In one crystal, Amira saw herself trapped in a loveless marriage, her eyes empty and defeated. In another, Aladdin saw himself wandering alone, growing old without purpose or connection. But in the center of the cave stood a massive crystal glowing with golden light. In this one, they saw themselves together, older, wiser, ruling Zarim side by side with wisdom and warmth, a kingdom flourishing, people happy and free. Amira touched the crystal. "Is this truly our destiny?" Aladdin's voice became gentle. "Perhaps it's not the destiny we are given. Perhaps it's the one we choose." Their eyes met in the crystal reflection. The future wasn't written in stone, it was written in the choices they would make together. That night, beneath a sky saturated with stars, they sat close by the fire. "I fear returning," Amira whispered. "I fear losing this freedom and losing you." Aladdin turned to her. "Wherever you go, my heart will follow." "I'm a princess. You're a map maker. We're from different worlds." "Then we'll build a new world," Aladdin said simply. "One where those things don't matter." Their hands slowly moved closer. Fingers brushed, then intertwined. "I don't know how this could possibly work," Amira admitted. "Neither do I," Aladdin agreed. "But I know I want to find out, with you." For the first time in her life, Princess Amira felt truly free. And Aladdin realized he had finally found what he'd been searching for. Home wasn't a location on a map. It was a person. It was her. At dawn, they were finally surrounded. Palace guards, dozens of them. "Princess Amira, you are to return to the palace immediately." Before Amira could protest, rough hands grabbed Aladdin. "You will be tried for kidnapping a member of the royal family." "He didn't kidnap me," Amira screamed. "I chose to go with him." "That's not how the law sees it." They dragged Aladdin away in chains. The compass fell to the ground between them. Hours later, Aladdin sat in a cold dungeon beneath the palace. But he remembered something. There were forgotten tunnels beneath the palace, ancient passageways he'd discovered years ago. By nightfall, he had escaped. He moved through the darkness until he emerged into the cool night air. Above him loomed the tower where they kept Amira. He began to climb. Meanwhile, Amira stood at her tower window, tears sliding down her cheeks. Tomorrow, they said, she would be formally engaged to a prince she'd never met. And then she heard it, a soft scraping against the stones. There, climbing up the tower wall, was Aladdin. "You came back," she whispered. "I always will," he murmured. "They're forcing me to marry tomorrow. I don't know how to stop it." "Then we don't stop it," Aladdin said. "We change it. We show them the truth." He touched her face through the window bars. "Trust me, just one more time." Looking into his eyes, Amira knew she did, with every fiber of her being. The next morning, the grand throne hall was filled with nobles gathered for the engagement announcement. But then the massive doors burst open. Princess Amira strode in, carrying the compass, still glowing with otherworldly light. "Father," she said clearly, Before any announcement is made, there is something you must see. The compass in her hand suddenly erupted with brilliant, blazing light. Golden radiance filled the entire hall. The elderly historian stepped forward. This is the legendary Truth Seeker's compass. It responds to truth itself, to integrity and genuine purpose. Only the true-hearted can awaken its full light. Within the glow, visions appeared. Amira trapped in a loveless marriage, a kingdom suffering under political greed. And then Amira and Aladdin together, ruling with wisdom and compassion, the kingdom flourishing. My heart has chosen its path, Amira declared, and if you force me down a different road, you'll destroy both me and the kingdom. She walked towards Aladdin at the back of the hall. This is the man I choose, not because he's a prince, but because he sees me. Because when the compass shows us our destiny, it shows us together. The Sultan looked at his daughter, really looked at her, perhaps for the first time in years. He saw not a political asset, but his child, someone brave enough to risk everything for authenticity. The compass has never been wrong, the historian said softly. The Sultan took a deep breath, and then he stood. You have shown more courage than many do in a lifetime. You've shown me that I was thinking of you as a chess piece rather than a person. He descended from his throne. If the compass of truth itself has chosen your path, who am I to stand on its way? He turned to Aladdin. You won my daughter's heart. Now prove you can serve this kingdom with the same integrity. Aladdin bowed. I know every street, every person of Zarim. I know the people's struggles because I've lived them. I swear I will spend my life making sure their voices are heard. The Sultan smiled. Then let it be so. Amira and Aladdin's hand clasped together, the compass glowing warmly between them. 3 weeks later, the palace gardens were transformed. Hundreds of golden lanterns hung from palm trees, their warm lights dancing like captured stars. There, beneath the lantern-lit palms, Aladdin and Amira were married. Not in a cold throne hall, but in open air, where the people of Zarim gathered close, merchants and nobles alike, all equal in this moment. When the moment came for their vows, Amira spoke first. You taught me that love isn't a luxury. It's a foundation of everything that matters. You saw me when I was invisible, and you gave me the freedom to choose my own destiny. Her voice was strong. I choose you, Aladdin, today, tomorrow, and for all our days. I choose us. Aladdin's voice was thick with emotion. I was a mapmaker who thought he knew every path, but I was lost until I met you. You showed me the greatest adventures aren't found on maps. They're found in moments, in hands held beneath starlight. He took her hands. I don't have wealth or power, but I have my heart, and it's completely, entirely, forever yours. I choose you, Amira. In every lifetime, I choose you. The compass, resting nearby, pulsed with a warm golden light, satisfied, as if it had led them exactly where they wanted to be. The celebration lasted long into the night. Later, when the festivities had quieted, Aladdin and Amira stood alone in the chamber. Do you think it knew? Amira asked, looking at the compass. Do you think it planned all of this? Aladdin wrapped his arms around her. I think it just showed us of what could be. And then we did the hardest thing of all. We chose to make it real. What happens now? She wondered. Now we get to live the story the compass showed us. We build a kingdom together. We grow old together, with 1,000 adventures still ahead. That sounds perfect, Amira whispered. The compass glowed softly, as if agreeing. And they lived, not a life free of challenges, but a real life, built on real love and filled with real joy. A life where a humble mapmaker became a wise leader, where a sheltered princess became a champion for her people, where two souls finally found each other, and where a magical compass rested peacefully, knowing that the destiny it had pointed towards hadn't just been followed, It had been chosen, willingly, joyfully, courageously chosen, and that made all the difference.